Good afternoon. I'm Muriel Bowser, Mayor of Washington, D.C. We are located at the WAMU headquarters in Northwest, where I have just finished the Kojo Nnamdi show with Martin Astermule as his guest. And we talked about a range of issues, including public safety, the D.C. budget, as well as a personnel announcement that I made today. I am pleased to announce that Executive Assistant Chief Sean Benedict will serve as the interim chief of the Metropolitan Police Department while I conduct a search for the permanent placement for Chief Conti. Chief Conti's effective retirement is June 3rd, but his last day in the office will be next Wednesday, at which time Sean Benedict will be the acting chief. Any questions? Yes.
Mayor Bowser, why, with all due respect, Chief, why did you choose Chief Benedict for this role?
Well, we are delighted I was delighted when Chief Conti brought me the idea of Chief Benedict coming to MPD to serve as his executive assistant chief. And I know that he is going to do a fine job in making sure that we're deploying our men and women, keeping the district safe, while the interim search is ongoing.
Could we ask the assistant?
Sure.
Chief, I guess the big question I want to ask you is, do you want the permanent job? Have you applied for the permanent job? Are you under consideration for the permanent job?
No, Mark, I'm not under consideration. I'm not putting in for the job, and that's a personal decision that I'm making. I think I'm better suited to support the department as the executive assistant chief and now as the interim chief while the search continues. I think it's important to bring some stability and consistency to department operations and not have that distraction at all. So my focus is on the city and quelling the violence in the city.
So will you stay on after a permanent chief is hired?
Yes.
You'll stay on after that?
Yes.
Chief, were you the one that basically did the day-to-day operations at MPD, or?
Yes. I mean, in terms of working as a team, that's what we do. I work with Chief Conti. I'm with him every single day. I oversee our patrol operations, our investigations, our Homeland Security Bureau. And so all of those assistant chiefs that work for us report up their plans. But we as a team, the chief and I, are continually looking at information, adjusting our deployment strategy, looking at our investigations, what we need to bring them to bear. All of that takes place. I've been doing that with the chief side by side for over 2 years.
And of course, I guess you all had some relationship because you were the special agent in charge of ATF here as well, right?
That's correct. When I transferred, I was the head of the ATF New York office from 2016 to 2019. I came down here in 2019 back home. I still maintain my home here since 1998. I've been a district resident since 1998. Chief Conti and I had a chance to really work closely together. He was the chief of Investigative Services Bureau. I was the head of the ATF. We worked on gun violence, gun trafficking, violent crime very, very closely. And that's how we got to really foster not only our friendship, but the professional partnership.
I've been out the scene on many of the crimes recently, and a lot of them, the residents are telling me they're concerned. They're saying, we love Chief Conti, someone that is a native Washingtonian that we feel cares. How do we calm people's concerns as this transition goes on, and obviously with these heightened concerns that they have with the recent crime that's going on?
Yes, thank you for that. And the support from community has been absolutely overwhelming. More so than what I even expected, to be quite honest with you. But that being said, I am very confident in the abilities of Sean Benedict and the team of the Metropolitan Police Department. I think the mayor has made an excellent choice to ensure that operations that involve community, to ensure that the focus on community continues. The safety of the communities that we serve is paramount. That is the thing that we talk about. That is the thing that keeps us up at night. It is the thing that the mayor is laser focused on, and it's the thing that Chief Benedict will be laser focused on. So in that space, the plans that have been put in place, the plans that last year led to a 7% reduction reduction in violent crime, a 10% reduction in homicides, an overall 4% reduction in crime last year, and lower than what we would normally see during the summertime reductions in crime last year. Chief Benedict was very much in the center of all of that stuff that was going on. So I'm very confident in his ability to be able to lead this department forward as the mayor continues to consider who will be the next chief of police for the Metropolitan Police Department.
Is there a timetable for when you want to name a permanent successor?
As soon as I find the right person, and we're not going to rush that decision, but at the same time, I would like to have a permanent chief as soon as possible. So, as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of interest in the position and a lot of highly qualified individuals that we will carefully consider.
Do you want to hire from the outside, or are you thinking inside? What's your methodology right now?
We're going to look at everybody very closely.
Do you have any dates?
Also, Benedict, he needs to be approved by the council, correct?
No,
He does not?
no.
Okay.
Do you have any dates set up for interviews of applicants?
We don't yet, but I have had the opportunity to do like my first review of interested folks, and so I expect that we will start talking to people soon.
Can you say anything about how many people have applied for the job?
Not exactly, but a good number.
And what qualities are you looking for in your next chief?
A leader and a crime fighter.
Anything more specific? than that?
That's what matters, that we can lead the men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department, and that they have a laser focus on driving down crime.
Would you prefer someone that's from the district?
I just talked a little bit about qualities that I think are important in terms of leadership of a diverse, professional police department in an urban environment that can both speak to stakeholders and speak to communities. So while you don't have to be from Washington, D.C., you better know it darn well.
Chief Conti, what special qualities does the new assistant or the new interim chief have that make this job work for him, particularly given the crime wave that we have going on now?
Well, he comes from a background of focusing on guns from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. And if you look at over 80% of the homicides in the District of Columbia are illegal firearm related. Sean has been very instrumental as we have built in a environment where we have a shrinking workforce, where we have built strong partnerships with our federal partners. He's a large part of how we have been able to do that, to have our federal partners really on board in lockstep in MPD facilities, working cases, everyday cases, to include spaces of homicide and robberies and some other longer-term investigations. He's been in the same space with me, with the mayor. He's been in community. He acts for me now when I'm out of the area on business travel or away with family or something like that. And he has an even temperament. And in this job, it is certainly a job where you have to have a temperament where, community certainly will support you and feel confident in your abilities to be able to address the issues of concern to them.
So to you, this is a seamless transition.
It's a seamless transition. If I were to hop on an airplane tomorrow, he would be the acting guy moving the MPD forward tomorrow. He'd be doing that tomorrow.
Okay, Mark, it looks like you have the last question. Any other questions?
Well, could we get a couple of off-topic questions? Thanks very much. One, I'm wondering if Mayor and one of the chiefs might want to talk about the charges against Lieutenant Lamont this morning that were announced by the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Yes. So as you may recall, when we first started working with the U.S. Attorney's Office on this case, I made a decision very early on in November of 2022 to put the lieutenant off on leave and revoke his police powers, where he has remained. I think that was in November of 22, and he has remained on leave since that time. And now that he has been formally charged, the charges are what they are. I would certainly refer you to the indictment, but based on the things that are in the indictment, those are things that I took in consideration when we took the very forward step early on in November to put him in the status that he currently is.
What happened in February of 22?
Was it February of 22? I may be getting my 22s mixed up.
That's what I saw in the thing. But had you dealt with him at all? Had you had any sense or anything like that? Or?
No, I mean, most of the stuff that's in the indictment, it happened before I became chief. But regardless, at the end of the day, he's a member of the Metropolitan Police Department. And, while, I will not have him stand trial as we're having this press conference. The charges in the indictment are the charges in the indictment, and those are things that he have to answer for. Certainly, there were things in there that were troubling to me, and when I saw those things again, it led to me making the decision that I made back then to put him in the current status. So I think you're right, February 2022. So thank you for that correction, Sam. Yeah.
Chief Conti, what does an indictment like this do in terms of trust between, your force and your community?
Well, sometimes we have people who find themselves in situations, police officers who find themselves in situations, and I think in any organization, we're a large Metropolitan Police Department, 4,000 employees, officers, and professional staff, and certainly there are times we don't like to see it, but there are times when we have people who don't live up to the oath. And when we have that, we have to hold them accountable, just like I talk about accountability in community, just like I talk about accountability for crimes. I talk about accountability within the Metropolitan Police Department. And I'm the first person, again, in this case, to say, hey, based upon what I see, this member I don't want wearing a badge, this member I don't want within the ranks of the Metropolitan Police Department until this plays out, and he'll have his day in court to be able to address the allegations or the charges that have been made against him.
Chief, while we have you, microphone, any update on the Roosevelt High shooting, and particularly what we're hearing about the possibility that he may have shot himself either accidentally or not?
So we're being very, very careful with this, Mark, obviously, and my condolences to the family of the decedent in this case, but we're working very closely with the chief medical examiner on this. There's certain things that you look at. For example, if that were the case, certain things that the OCME would need to see, certain things that he needs to do, and add that up with witness accounts of what happened. And we just want to be very methodical as we go through that, because there's an impact to the family one way or another. There's an impact to the family, and we just want to make sure that we get it right. And we're not there yet. Dr. Diaz is working very hard. His team is working very hard on this. I reached out to him the day that this occurred, just so that we're all paying attention to what the outcome of this is going to be. I should also add that regardless of what the outcome is, our detectives, our homicide detectives specifically, have been working on this case. He's a young man, a youth of our city. Just like in some of the other cases, when we see people who senselessly lose their life involving interaction, involving guns, involving whatever, we're going to investigate this case to the fullest. And the team is working very hard on this one. Thank you.
Of course, what they said at the time, Chief,
Kane.
Thank you, ma'am. Chief Kane said that you were closely looking at the video. Did that show you anything?
The video has been helpful to us, and we're continuing to work through that, but we're not at the point right now where we can say, for certain that, hey, this is what happened. The video has certainly been helpful to us, so we're still going through it. Again, evidence, you got to match that up with witness statements, with video, to really kind of get to where we need to be in determining a cause and manner. We know he suffered a gunshot wound for certain. We know he's dead for certain. How that actually occurred, sometimes, I've learned in 30-some years of doing this, I never rule out anything, especially in the very early phases. So we just need to make sure we're taking time to get this right.
Do you have any more indication of when he was last in school? Chief Kane said it was earlier that day, but do you know when he left, or if there was any protocol breached?
No, I'm not sure exactly at what point he left school.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.